Hi, this is Jeff Dowler, and I am sitting here in the La Costa area of Carlsbad where I live with the owners of Gems of La Costa, and I thought we'd talk a little bit with them about how they got started in the business here, and then I have a couple other questions that I'd like to ask as well. So who'd like to start?
Well, how I got started in the business?
Or I guess I'm interested in how you got started here, you know, sort of
Okay.
what brought you here, and tell me about the business here in La Costa.
Linda and I have been looking to buy a jewelry store that we could own and operate ourselves after having been in the jewelry business since the 60s as a teenager.
Okay.
It was a search that covered Southern California, up and down the coast, and we discovered that this was a business that had actually closed, and in 1989 we bought out the Gems of La Costa business, and that was in the old Vons shopping center of La Costa Avenue, and in 1994 we came to this location.
Oh, okay, great. So you've been a team for a number of years, and
I met Dale working in the jewelry store. I took a job in the jewelry store that he was working at, and
Wow.
shortly after that, we got together.
That
And I've
was
been in
back
jewelry
in the
business for a long time.
70s. That was
Wow.
1977 when we met, working
Right.
in a jewelry store in Palos Verdes.
I had quit a ballet career.
wow,
And
wow,
right
that's
into
impressive.
jewelry.
Wow. Do you have, do you find, are most of your clients new clients? Do you have a lot of people that have been coming to you for years? You know, how would you describe
It's
your business?
a little bit of both, but there is the most important segment is repeat and referral business.
Okay.
We've been established here in La Costa for 20 years,
Yep.
and so we've developed quite a following. And we still advertise quite a bit. We get a lot of new people that are just discovering us, people that are coming into the area.
Uh-huh.
But so it's going to be a mix of both. But
Okay.
the solid established client base is probably
Sure.
the biggest portion of
Sure.
it.
I've got to ask you about this jar of money sitting here on the counter. It says charity charges on it, and I think people would love to know what that's all about. Tell us.
It's a good story.
In a simple way of describing it is, it's kind of like tips for charity.
Mhm.
Historically, jewelry stores would do small services that are almost goodwill gestures. You take
Uh-huh.
care of a minor part to keep the watch band on a watch,
Right.
or a clasp that came loose, and it's a very small amount of time. We have the right tool, and it might take us 30 seconds, or it's a part that might cost us a few cents.
Mhm.
And I'm not really comfortable having a minimum charge sign on the wall.
Right.
And that goodwill gesture is something that has historically been accepted, but we did have customers that felt uncomfortable with a complete no-charge service like that, and they would sometimes leave money on our counter as a way of paying for it. I came up with the idea of making that a charity charge.
Uh-huh.
So if someone comes in needing that minor service, many of those things that take just a small amount of time will ask for a charity charge. It's voluntary, and whatever that person decides to put in this jar, we then raise money for local nonprofit organizations. Right now, we're really focusing on the North County Food Bank because the demand is so high that we kind of relate to, if people are hungry, that's probably one of the real basic situations that you want to cover. So we take that money and just make the donations on a sort of an occasional basis. We get more at times. We're probably getting ready to empty that out a little bit.
It looks pretty full.
Yeah, so the North County
Time to
Food
have
Bank will
some
probably
fun.
be expecting a check now that we've mentioned this.
There you go. What kind of, how much money would you say you donate each year, roughly, from these tips?
It varies, but I stopped counting exact dollars years ago, and I know in what is at least 15 to 17 years of doing it, it's in tens of thousands that have
That's
come in
incredible.
and gone out.
That's incredible.
And it usually is a couple $100s at a time. On Thanksgiving Day, I go to places that are offering free Thanksgiving meals, and I'll just take some of the money from this jar and hand out donations to some of those places that are providing meals.
That is
And
great.
our time is so limited as to getting out there and doing things
Sure.
voluntarily, that this is the way we donate our time in the store, and the customer decides
Right.
how much it's worth.
I think that's wonderful, and people do you let your clients, your customers know that this is how the money's being handled?
Yes.
What you're
Yeah, in
doing?
fact, you
We
may
have
not
a
see it,
little
but there's a
sign.
sign on the
Yeah, okay,
wall
there
that
we go.
explains it. And frankly, there are people, when they hear what, if I had a charge for some of these small services, it might be $1 or $2, $3.
Right.
But sometimes I've had people put $10 or $20 in for something that I'm saying, yeah, it's kind of a lot, and they say, no, it's going to charity, I don't mind.
That's great.
So it works well for everyone.
Right. Well, that's a wonderful story. I mean, I think you both would be commended for all you bring to the community, not just with the wonderful jewelry business that you have here, but also the care and thoughtfulness for people who are needy in Carlsbad. And I think it's really a wonderful story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.